Mr. Blandino is downstairs, said he was not going to appear by blue jeans and refuses to wear a mask. So the sergeant is not going to let him in the building.
Okay.
Your Honor, my request at this point in time would be first that you address this motion, and then I'm making a request for a bench warrant to be issued for Mr. Blandino, and for it to be found that he's just not been in compliance with the conditions of his release. The main one being for all conditions of release for all defendants just appearing in court. And so I think that at this point in time, it's absolutely warranted to put him into custody, as that seems to be the only way that we're actually going to secure his appearance in court.
Okay. Anything from standby counsel?
No,
I mean, it just appears as though he just refuses to appear. He keeps saying he wants an accommodation, but that's not true. I mean, every accommodation we've made, appear in person at the courthouse, wear a mask. He won't do that. Okay, if you don't want to wear a mask, then appear via blue jeans. And you can go to your standby counsel's office. He refuses to do that. I literally don't understand what accommodation he wants, except no accommodation, do whatever he wants, and appear in open court without a mask on and jeopardize the public health of everyone. I don't understand. Does the defense want to say anything? I can assume that he doesn't want his trial set before this pandemic is over. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I'm assuming we can continue the trial out indefinitely until the pandemic's over, because he's literally refusing to comply with the public health directives. I'm a state employee. This is a public building. I don't have a choice. I am required to comply with the public health directives. I have no choice.
I understand, Your Honor. I can't really, I don't know that it's appropriate to stand by counsel to make representations when he's the attorney in this matter. I will say I know he is not waiving his right to a speedy trial.
Sure
that's
is.
probably
I'm not hearing.
Well, I mean,
I apologize, counsel.
I understand. I'm just stating that. Obviously, I think with that, it's probably as much as I ought to say. Like I say, he's his own attorney. So, I don't think it's proper for me to make arguments.
Okay. I apologize for interrupting you, and I do appreciate that. But there's only one conclusion I can reach when you won't comply with public health directives when coming into a public building. And so I'm going to make a finding that he's waived his right to a speedy trial. I can only assume, since he refuses to comply with the public health directives, that we can just set his trial date out closer to the end of next year, when I believe we will be through this pandemic, because it's pretty clear he is refusing to comply with reasonable public health directives in coming into a public building. I'm not inclined to issue the bench warrant now, because I'm concerned about him going into the Clark County Detention Center when he hasn't been complying with public health directives. So I'm not going to issue the bench warrant. I would encourage standby counsel to get prepared to take over the defense in this matter, because it appears very likely that that's the direction we're heading. If he continues to refuse to comply with the court directives, the public health directives, it appears as though you're going to have to take over his defense. I'm not going to grant that at this time, but I want Mr. Blandino to know that if he continues to refuse, that you're going to be taking over his defense, because I can't allow him to continue to impede and obstruct the proceedings because he won't comply with very reasonable directives. So, Haley, let's set the trial out, and we can set it towards the latter part of next year.
Calendar call is going to be August 24th, 8:30 a.m. Jury trial August 30th. 10:30.
So you're denying the state's motion to revoke his right to self-representation, Your Honor?
at this point, that I'm strongly encouraging standby counsel to get prepared to take over, because it really looks like we're headed in that direction. Because I'm not going to allow him to continue to impede and obstruct these proceedings with his willful non-compliance. Haley, why don't we set it out for 120 days for a status check regarding how we are on the pandemic?
So would you like me to renew that motion in the future depending on his behavior, or do you want to also continue out that motion for some time to see how
I
his
don't
behavior?
think we're going to have to renew this motion. I think that my directive is pretty clear. If he continues to obstruct and impede, his standby counsel is going to take over.
Okay.
So we can leave the motion pending. That's probably a good idea.
Okay. So not denied at this time. Motion just pending, and it's open based upon his behavior moving forward. Got it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Correct.
Continued motion and status check regarding trial readiness is going to be April 13th at 8:30. If we're still on pandemic schedule, that'll be at 10:15 a.m.